Hey everybody, Mike O'Brien, Fire Chief with the Brighton Area Fire Authority. As you can see on the screen, we're with Shaun from Hometown Bikes, who has a whole plethora of bikes behind him. So my first question out of the gate is, what is the best trail you like to ride in the Brighton area?
You know, I really enjoy Island Lake. It's pretty legendary. It's the highest used trail in Southeast Michigan, and it's fun for everybody. It's I don't get to go out there as much as people might think. The lawn guy's lawn is the worst lawn type thing. Um, so it's fun that I can go out there, feel like a rock star, but then stay safe and go home. It's so Island Lake would definitely be up there on the best trail. So both paved.
Yes. So what are you doing with Hometown Bikes right now? Are you guys open, repairing bikes, or are you guys just kind of shut down and weathering out the storm?
So bikes are, they were deemed non-essential, but which is kind of conflicting because they did recommend people getting out there and staying healthy and riding bikes. So yeah, we're shut down. My guys are in the business of helping people. So one of the things that we were trying to figure out is how can we help someone, and we're going stir crazy, right? March, April, and May are our 3 top months. We're a seasonal business, and March is gone. We're in the middle of April and May, so we're shut down. We're doing free repairs. So I talked to the crew, and they all volunteered to take care of some. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, from 10 to 2, we're doing like free emergency repairs. Flat tires, broken spokes, things that'll just keep people going. So that's been keeping us sane, still being able to help people.
So I think that's probably, it suits you guys very well, because I think you are so true to the name of your company. You guys are a hometown local hero when it comes to bikes. I mean, people absolutely wear your brand. They love you guys. And I think it shows from the customer service and all the engagement you guys are in the community. So how did you get to that? How did you get to be, I mean, you're a true servant, and I mean, how did you get to there?
Well, I appreciate that. And, I gotta credit my wife for that, because when we were making the decision to start our company, we were there talking about it, and she kept saying, well, why do you want to start a bike shop? And I'm giving her, I like bikes. And, why do you want to start? And she kept nudging me and, just kind of pushing, like, why do you truly want to do this? And our tagline is go to your happy place. And I yelled out, I just want people to go to their happy place. And she's like, great, let's start from there, and so we came up with some guiding rules, right? We actually have 4 rules that we follow here at our company. We say all of our decisions must be good for the customers because they expect it. It must be good for the company because we need it. It must be good for the community because we're part of it, and it must be good for the industry because we love it. So the hours we pick, the location we're at, everything that we do, the vendors we buy from, the products we sell, they all have to fit all 4 of those rules, because we're expecting people to trust us with their decision making. And, we can buy any floor pump we want out there, but we pick a floor pump that basically says, why does somebody want a floor pump? Well, here's the 4 reasons why someone will want a floor pump. And then we do. So it goes back to, simplified decision, understanding that, people are trusting us with their health, with their safety, and they're just trusting us, period. And, I always tell the guys, I said, you don't ever want to hide from someone at Kroger. I said, you're walking around Kroger and you see a customer and you say, got to go to the next aisle. You did something wrong. So turn around, fix what you did wrong, and go up to that customer with a straight face and absolute confidence and say, hey, how you doing? So there's some rules that we follow, and we understand that we're part of this community. I mean, now I've got 2 kids. They're going to the schools in this community. I mean, I've lived here since '98, and, loved it. Brighton and Livingston County has been super awesome to me. I believe that I owe a lot to the community, and and our business should reflect that. We are value added, we hope, every day. So
Oh, you guys are doing it for sure. So you talked about your wife and your family. Obviously, you're probably working from home a little bit, and how's the mix at home with everybody trying to deal with whatever this is?
So, well, it's funny because we're open every day, right? Normally 10 to 7. Our original hours were 7 to 7 every day. I think the biggest shocker is for our kids because I'm home a lot more than they thought. I mean, they're like, they wake up and they're like, "What are you doing here? What's going on?" And I still sneak out and have lunch with them and everything. But it's, I think my kids are having the hardest time adjusting with it. My little guy, he went to the tot spot and he was really loving school, and unfortunately didn't finish up. But they've been doing a great job communicating with them, and his teacher's been awesome doing the FaceTime stuff. But it's weird, like I said, having that extra time with them because it's my little guy's 4 years old now. He's going to be 5, and I'm looking at him in absolute fascination, thinking, man, did 4 years really go by? And he's amazing. This is crazy. And so I guess that's one of the plus to this time is being able to spend that extra time with them. And we've been doing experiments and learning, and it's been fun. It's been I really, one of the goals that I have after this is to be able to find a better balance. I think I have a good balance, but I want to have a better balance with the family. And my wife's been a rock star. I mean, she is, we're still here in the shop doing some cleaning and organizing. So she's still giving me a chance to get away a little bit, but she's still with them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I'm not the first person they ask for when they walk into the room. So, I'm trying to figure out a way to give her some quiet time also too. But I don't know if you saw on our Facebook, my first experiment with some personal time was giving my guys a haircut, and I had safety scissors and blue painter's tape, so it didn't turn out too good. So,
Well, I think all of us are going to be looking for haircuts in the near future because they're all getting longer as the days go on, and it seems probably like hair cutting will be one of the last things back open. So that'll be a surprise, I think, for all of us. Now, probably beyond just building bikes, repairing bikes, and selling all things around bikes, you have a very strong community, riding groups, from first-time mountain bikers to probably people that get out on road bikes and ride 100 miles. So how are those communities doing and interacting? Because like you said, this is starting to be a good cycling time. You kind of blow the dust off those indoor trainers and you want to get outside and ride. And I'm sure people can ride, but 15 people going out for a ride, maybe not the wisest thing right now. So how are your community groups doing?
So everyone's still trying to obviously respect the social distancing. It's really tough. There's a lot of online programs now that people still, because cyclists are, people who ride in general tend to be a little bit more competitive. So everyone loves to show off kind of what they're doing. But what's really cool about Livingston County is our option to recreate. I mean, we have, dirt road riding, gravel road riding is becoming a big deal. So people are starting to experiment more and more with the dirt and the gravel road riding. Obviously, Island Lake, Kensington, we have Brighton Rec. There's a lot of trails. We have the Lakeland Trail. So there's a lot of opportunity to recreate. And still, Livingston County can still, I believe, accommodate people out there being safe and riding, but still be able to do the social distancing thing. So I don't think it's affecting as much. What we've seen either on our Facebook page or just even on the days we're doing emergency repairs is there's a lot of people who've been taking those bikes that's been sitting in their garage for 5-6 years out, and they're starting to experience the awesomeness that we have in our county to be able to recreate. So I'm really hoping that when this is all said and done, more and more people are going to enjoy that infrastructure that we have, and be able to get out there and be healthy and have. I started riding more because of this. So
Okay, what's your go-to bike that you would you rather go on a mountain bike or would you rather get on a road bike?
I like road riding. I actually have a touring bike, so it's kind of a hybrid between a road bike and a gravel bike that I enjoy. I tend to zone out because to me, although cycling's fun, it's still tied up to what I do on a daily basis. So because I tend to kind of blank out and kind of get into a zone, it's a little bit safer on the road, especially in Island Lake. So there's not a lot of trees jumping out to grab me. It's but I love my touring bike. I've had it for a long time, so it's
Most of us have been watching more TV than we probably want to admit. What show or series did you guys get into? Maybe that wasn't kids related, like something that the kids were going to watch, but what was something you kind of chilled out to? Did you get into Ozarks or Tiger King or?
Actually, my little guy and girl, they love Mr. Bean. So we've been watching tons of Mr. Bean, which is great because I grew up in the Caribbean and Mr. Bean was a big deal, so now I'm getting to share that experience with them. But I tell you, the Marvel series, the Avengers and the Hulk, Thor, and never been a huge comic book fan, but I ended up watching, the Avengers. We got Disney Plus, so and I'm addicted. I mean, it's like I've been watching multiple times already. This is great. I'm like, so it's pretty cool. So, but that's
right.
My weapon of choice is the Marvel series. So that's been pretty awesome.
And what's your favorite ice cream?
My favorite ice cream, I like chocolate ice cream. Just any kind of chocolate ice cream, I'm good with it. So if it's chocolate, you check mark that box for me.
All right. So what Brighton restaurant are you looking forward to be back open that you can take your wife out on a date to?
We really enjoy Bar None.
Oh.
It's close. It's their bread is delicious, and I love their gumbo, and that's kind of what we're looking for is a date night at Bar None. It's and Bagels and Bites. I tell you, I miss that place.
Oh, have you had the Fraggle?
I've had the Fraggle. I absolutely love it, but it's I told my wife, I said for the first month when everything's over, we're not going to cook anything. We're just going to go eat everywhere. So I said I will turn off our stove if we need to.
You fix things all day long.
Yep.
Bikes. When something breaks at your house, your dishwasher stops working, a faucet's dripping, are you more apt to fix it, or are you more apt to call somebody to fix it?
So I guess so growing up in the Caribbean, you can't really go out and buy things. So I see my in-laws and everyone, they are my family. They have a tendency of fixing things. So I do have a tendency of fixing things, and unfortunately, I figure I can't break it anymore. So at least let me try to fix it, and then if I can't fix it, then we go out and buy it or get it taken care of. Now, my being a small business guy and working with a lot of other small business people, I was given the advice to do what I do to make the money I make, to pay a guy to do what he does to make the money he makes. So there's certain things I've kind of written off as never being able to do again or not wanting to do it again. Plumbing, electrical, any of that stuff could, take me out. I decided, especially when it comes to making sure stuff is safe, so, but.
All right. So tell me about the Caribbean. How was that growing up?
So that's one of the main reasons I moved to Michigan is because it reminded me of growing up in the Caribbean. So in the Caribbean, when I grew up there, everybody was friendly. I mean, everyone went everywhere. No one, it was a different feel, right? So then after that, we moved to New York City, and I remember, landing and my parents saying, "Hey, you know what? We're going to be in an apartment, and it's a different city. Don't talk to anybody, and kind of do all these things that were I'm like, whoa, what are you talking about? This is America. Everybody's supposed to be friendly, right? And I had an opportunity once to come out to Michigan when I was working for a shop in New Jersey, a company in New Jersey, and I went to Meijer, and I remember bumping into someone's cart at Meijer, and I'm like, okay, defend your ground, type thing. This is, Jersey City rules here. And the lady's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to bump into you. She's like, no, let me move my cart. I'm like, whoa. You're supposed to say, hey, why did you bump my cart? I'm like, it stuck with me. It absolutely stuck with me that this person was so nice. And then a few years later it goes by and I had a chance to move to Michigan. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna move to Michigan. I'm gonna come out here. So I moved out here in '98 and I've loved it. I've been here. I've seen a lot of the changes and But it's Caribbean living. I grew up when I was 13 is when we left the Caribbean, so it was definitely like the glory days of growing up. Right, didn't have any responsibility. All I had to do was go to school and play. Kind of sort of doing the same thing here in Michigan. Just going to work and play.
What is your advice, right? If somebody's like, hey, I need to get let's walk through buying bikes for a minute. You're a pro. I need to get, I have bought my daughter's bikes from you guys, and it is the most painless thing in the whole wide world. If you buy bikes from, I don't care, pick a big box, you do not get the same quality, service, attention, sizing. It doesn't matter. So how do you convince, or what would be your advice? Somebody needs a bike. I got my 7-year-old, 8-year-old, or maybe starting to get into a bike that's a little bigger. What's your advice on that?
So, first thing, just keep this in mind. Unlike the big box stores, I can't sell chicken to pay our light bill, right? So, it's bikes is what we do. But we always tell everyone there's 4 fits when you buy a bicycle. It's fit, and fit. So it has to fit you physically, which is our job. It has to fit your needs, which is finding out what you're going to do, where you're going to ride, how you're going to use this bike. It has to fit your budget, which is up to you, because obviously we don't want you to go over budget. We don't want you to go under budget. And if those 3 fit, then you won't have a fit. You're going to go enjoy, right? So we know why the manufacturers make a bike, and most bike shops, you pick it. They know why they design certain bicycles, and asking questions, we can fit that, we can match that bike to what the customer is describing. So we tell everyone, be honest, be realistic, tell us what you're going to use it for, and we'll match it up to what we're going to match you to the bike. And then obviously budgeting, that's up to you. We're not here to tell you all bikes are good bikes. Especially bike shop quality bikes tend to be better bikes. The manufacturers, they're not going to put you on a product because they want to retain you. Like everybody remembers their first Schwinn. Well, Schwinn made a great bike, and their hope is that their first Schwinn leads to a second Schwinn, leads to a third Schwinn. Now Schwinn's not even owned by Schwinn anymore, but people still come in and ask for a Schwinn because they remember that quality. Well, all of these new brands are trying to fit into that new market, So the biggest thing is bike shop quality bikes tend to cost a little bit more, but you tend to get a better working product. You get to get a bike that's more dependable, a bike that would, bolster your desire to experiment or go further than you've ever gone before, because that bike is going to be dependable for you. And for a lot of people, they know that there's someone there to support it for them, so if they have a problem, their bike shop is there to take care of it. We've seen some people go on some really long adventures, and they would have never gone on those adventures if they didn't really believe in the product that they're on. One of our local guy, he lives up in Alpena now. He's currently riding around the world on a bicycle. He's qualified to be the oldest gentleman in the world to ride around, on a bike. And it's
Wow.
he's on that trip right now. So it's so the big thing for any bike shop is just knowing that the bike has to fit you, which is again our job. Fit your needs, finding out why you're going to do it, what you're going to do with it, and fit your budget. And if all those 3 fit, then you'll have a blast. So
one of the things that I've done with my bikes and you guys is I bring it up every year, every other year, and you guys strip it, it seems like, down to everything, new cables, you clean oil, lube, all of that. There's no filters on bikes. So why is that important, right? If somebody's had their bike in a garage, let's say they bought a bike from you maybe when you first opened. You guys have been open almost 10 years, right?
Years, yeah, 10-year birthday this year. So.
Right. So let's say I bought a bike from you, I don't know, 8 years ago. I kind of casually rode it. I didn't ride it at all last year, but you know what? I need to get out of my bike. Bringing that bike back to you guys in the shop, you guys can get that thing almost back up to new, right? In a very short time frame. Yeah.
That's one of our pillars. I mean, we started as a service shop. We're always going to be a service shop first, We've worked on over 24,000 bicycles, 24,000 No, it's amazing. We've actually tracked it since day one, and it's pretty proud. We're really proud of that number. And yeah, so it's preventative maintenance, right? You're buying a better piece of equipment. Everything you own, there's preventative maintenance. A bike tune-up is preventative maintenance. The tune-ups that we do normally, depending on how much you ride, you would do it every couple of years. And again, it goes back to dependability. The more dependable that bike is, the more confident you are with it, and the longer your adventures tend to be. I always tell everyone that your ride stops and your walk starts when your bike breaks down. When do you want that to happen? Because it never happens within 100 feet of your car. It always happens a couple miles down the road. So,
I love that. In this 20-minute talk that you and I have been having, you can definitely see how passionate you are about good customer service. So how do you train, hire, and develop men and women that work for you to meet these standards that you're kind of setting out for the company?
So, it's funny you mentioned that, because one of the things that we're doing is, it's our 10th birthday party, right? So it's a big year for Hometown. And one of the things that we're doing is talking about our staff, past, present, and future, and doing the research. I mean, it's a number we never paid attention to, but we've had over 90 people go through our shop here since we've opened, and a lot of them are young, high schoolers. It's their first job, things that they've never, it's their first job, right? So one of the things that my wife and I do is we challenge these people that are coming in, these young men and women, to figure out what's one of their personal goals. Do they want to be more socially outgoing? Do they want to be a good business person? Do they want to, be a good mechanic? Do they, so if they don't come in with a goal, we can't help them, experiment. How tough it is for a high schooler to make a decision on a career. You hear all these people that are saying, oh, I'm going to be, an attorney. Well, it's hard to figure out, do you really want to be an attorney, right? So a lot of times we get those guys involved in the decisions that we're making as a company, because we're making those decisions together. So if we know that one of our staff members, they want to be more involved with business operations, well, we get them involved in business operations, because they have to know what it takes to run the business. And it gives them a chance to see the reality of it, because at the end of the day, we work in a bike shop, right? We sell bikes, we have fun, we go riding, we get, eat, pizza and drink beer and have fun and post everything on Facebook. Well, there's still a business that's attached to that, right? So we've always taken the position with all the new staff that's coming in is for them to set a goal. And then we try to reinforce that goal. If it's wanting to be a better, one of our girls, Gabrielle, she was in school. She's currently in school to become a teacher. Well, she changed her major to business. And part of that was her experience here in her first year, because our staff is really aware of every aspect of our business making. I mean, they know what our bottom line is. They know what our operating expenses are. They understand that if the lights stay on, it costs money. And, when you leave, please turn the lights off, type thing. And we think it's really critical that if more businesses get more people involved in the day-to-day operation, then I think that when someone has a vested interest and they know that they can make a change in that small business, that they would care more about that small business. We've seen guys that have worked here 10 years ago, 9 years ago, that have come back and they still feel like family. And they know that their efforts made this. Hometown has evolved a lot in the last 10 years. And James Ramsey, one of our mechanics from, 10 years ago, all those late nights and all those arguments and all those bikes and all those cuts and bruises that we've had, he walks in here with pride because he knows that he helped build this. I didn't do it on my own. I did it because of James, and I did it because of Bill, and I did it because of Alex, all these guys that have worked here in the past. So they should be able to walk in here with pride and know that they've helped build this. And our hope for every future person that's come into our company is to know that their efforts doesn't end in the summertime. It continues as long as Hometown's around. So for other business owners out there, when you think that you're fighting this fight on your own, understand that if you get your staff involved, right? Then it's a team fight to make sure that they're all working for something. It's not just us and them. It's never us and them. I tell the guys, I support your decision 100%, no matter what decision that is, because I believe that you understand what our goals are. And if ultimately you make that decision, I support it. I might question it. It's in the nature to question it, but I will support it. And now they know that they have that power and that part of it, that they'll fight for our company. I mean, the fact that our guys are volunteering, now to take care of bikes, they don't have to do that. They can stay home and, fix their house and cut their lawns and do whatever they need to do. But instead, they're coming in here, to make sure that people are happy. And they're saying, what, this is a volunteer effort. I appreciate what you do. And it's pretty amazing. So get them involved. That's what you need to do.
You should be so proud of the community that you've created with Hometown Bikes. We're so glad you're in the Brighton area. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, I just want to thank you for this chance to be able to share my story. Sometimes you get inundated with business and even talking about this stuff, it reminded me of why we do this. And I get reminded every day, but I just want to tell you, thank you for doing this. And I've looked at some of the other videos and I've learned a lot myself about, some business stuff and just, some community involvement things. So I really appreciate what you're doing. And I'm excited to see some of the other videos that you're going to publish. So thank you for doing this.
Yeah, the goal has always been, originally it was, hey, how do we share what our businesses are doing? Because, much like you're running your business, I think Brighton is a pretty strong community in a sense. And I think people are missing interacting with you. They're missing interacting with our business owners or the waitress at Cheryl's place. They're missing that sense of trying to connect. And so we're hoping that, maybe this provides that little bit of peace, because just like you're running your business with a team, I think it's going to take a small Brighton army to make sure Brighton's successful over the rest of this year and the next. It's not going to be easy getting out of the stay-at-home order. It's not going to be easy putting businesses back online, and you keeping your employees safe isn't going to be much different about how we keep our employees safe in the fire station. But I think there's stuff we can share and we can learn from, because I think in part too, we need you to have a strong passion, because you're going to be faced with some pretty strong challenges, and whatever we can do to support you all, I think collectively, that's how we get out of this successfully. So,
well, we understand and we know that, Hometown as a business and any restaurant, any local businesses that we have, the largest value to that business is in the community. I mean, it's the people that understand that, we like to think that we make Brighton better because we're a cool bike shop, and it makes someone who lives in Brighton proud of that, and, Bagels and Bites is an amazing bagel store, and, all the bars and restaurants that are out there. It's why we live here and why we enjoy what we do. And I think you're right. It's going to take all of us pulling together to make sure that, everyone, it'll take a few years for everyone to be back on track. But, I believe in this community. I believe in what we're doing, and we're doing our best to save the lights here. So.
Keep that energy efficient. Yeah.
That's right. So, but anyway, but I believe in Brighton, and I believe that we're all going to pull through really well, So, I think we're going to be better. I think we're going to value each other more when this is all over, so at least I hope so.
Well put. So if you need a bike for you, your kids, you are maybe thinking of riding your first off-road, you want to know what these fat tires are all about, you need a new helmet, you got to fix your bike, hit Shaun up at Hometown Bikes. We'll put the links in the bio here, because you can see that they are much more than a bike shop. Have a great day. Thanks, Shaun, for all your time today, and we'll see everybody on the next one.